Last week I told you there was one number that every woman approaching retirement should know, and it wasn't age, and it wasn't bank balance, and it wasn't mortgage balance. But my name is Wendy with Income Rewind, and one of the numbers that we spoke about was the Social Security estimate. And I know it's a conversation nobody likes to have. This is not the number one subject of the world that we love to talk about, but it's something that we need to talk about. And after doing that last week, I realized and had a lot of conversations with women who had no idea what that number was. And I said, well, how I found out about that number was going through my divorce. They were talking about, is that a number that she can survive on? Is that a number going forward that it will pay the bills and the mortgage and the vet expenses and everything else? So I said, okay, I need to stay in touch with that number, and you can find that too on www.ssa.gov. But don't just Google it and go there, because you'll find a lot of fake sites and a lot of scammers out there. So go to www.ssa.gov. You will be required to put information in that shows you are you, because they're going to be giving you some specific information. You can get just generic information if you want by going there as well. Retirement ages and things like that you can find at that site. But we'll be talking more about that. See, I'm talking about that too. I want to make sure you know I'm not a CPA, I'm not a FINRA, I'm not a retirement counselor. It was just something that the conversation got started when I realized I couldn't probably keep up the pace I was keeping up in commission sales and real estate and with property management. And it was just something that I did not want to carry me going forward. I didn't want to be financially cornered. I didn't want to be looking at just commission income. I didn't want to be looking at just residual income. I wanted something that was more steady and more balanced. But in the interim, have been asked about that Social Security number. So yeah, and as I mentioned, that fun question that none of us really want to have the conversation about, but at least it's not discussing your age or your weight. This is a little bit, I guess, more interesting than that. But the other thing is, what other income will you have coming in? Will you have pension or rental income or investments or part-time work or residuals? The other thing with finding out that time frame, what your income would be from Social Security, that income estimate, would also help you find out exactly when you could retire, because they made it into kind of a sliding scale. There are certain ages that you'll get penalized if you retire at this age, but you make over a certain amount. There's another age that will be you specific that will tell you when you can retire, but still get your retirement income, but not be penalized if you work a full-time job. And then there's another age that's important in what you'll be able to make if you don't retire at an age where you could, but then every year you'll be having a little bit more income monthly. And then in continuing the conversation, what I realized was, if that number wasn't something that I could live on, that started with a bigger conversation. So doing property management and getting caught up on my bills and my debt and things like that, because they had originally thought, if you want to talk about grim, my situation was, okay, she's going to have to go bankrupt. There's no way of assuming all the debt with the house, with all the pets and all the bills and things. There's no way. And there was no way I was going bankrupt, because I knew I would never be able to refinance my house. I would never be able to replace my car. So those kinds of conversations were tough, but it wasn't happening. So, we figure it out. And like I said, I've got a couple of forms I'm going to link for you to help you figure it out. But the other conversation was, if I decided to leave a commission income job, what other possibilities were out there? Ones that didn't require traveling and car and expenses and clothing and investments of monthly, expenses ongoing. Like I said, that bigger conversation of what could take me into the next decade without having to put in 90 hours a week, without starting over every month and all of these things. So you're not behind, you're not late. We just, like I said, these are tough conversations that we need to have, But the good news is that there are lots of possibilities out there. There is a lot of good news with this. But the hard news is to try to find out what you need to make going forward. So I'll be doing deeper dives. Tuesday I'll have another episode on this and another one on Thursday, and then next Sunday. So I'm going to try to keep it in a schedule because I want to share everything that I've learned along the way with you guys. Thanks. And like I said, my name is Wendy. Subscribe and hit that little notification bell, and you'll be given notices, and make sure that you check out the links below. And so let me know in your comments anything you would like to know in the future. If you have any questions, if some of this information wasn't clear enough, I do respond to all of my comments and all of my direct messages. So you can DM me as well. And my email is in my bio. Take care.